All right, what's popping, party people? It's another episode of Pop Talk. This is Professor Nims. I'm signing on for my man Boston Jared,
Peace.
Coach Dave,
Bro.
and the Casual Rand.
No.
And we make up the pundits of pugilism. We want to make sure that you like and subscribe to the episode before we kind of get into the content. We're trying to get those likes and those subscriptions up. But we don't want to take away from the topic at hand, which is all things Canelo. We are coming off of the Cinco de Mayo weekend where Saul Canelo Alvarez took on your man John Ryder. This was for the undisputed 168-pound, the super middleweight championship. We want to first kind of go over the pundit picks, and we want to acknowledge Boston Jared, who called for a decision win by Canelo Alvarez. And then, so with that, so those who do get the pundit picks right, we want to give them opportunity to kind of talk about what they thought about the fight and why they think that their premonition actually kind of came to fruition.
I mentioned it in the previous video. I have seen a lot of John Ryder. I mean, I watched the Callum Smith fight. I watched the Danny Jacobs fight. I watched the Zach Parker fight. I think went back and I think I watched the Rocky Fielding fight to see it was one of the fights he had lost. I knew he was a defensively responsible guy. He's not a guy that he's pretty disciplined when it comes to his defense, and he's a durable guy. He's been in there with big punches before, and I think Canelo was the first guy to I think to knock him down. I'm not sure, but I knew he was a durable guy. And again, I don't think Canelo is the guy that a lot of people make him out to be. I didn't think that there was anything he was going to do to really bother John Ryder that much. I didn't think John Ryder had any chance to win the fight on the scorecards, but I didn't think Canelo was going to knock this guy out. He's a durable guy, and people who are running around saying that Canelo is washed because he couldn't knock out John Ryder, I think that's disingenuous. I mean, if you think that he's washed because his timing isn't there, the speed, the reflexes are going, and then you saw that in the fight, then that's one thing. But that's not the argument a lot of people are making. A lot of people are saying he didn't knock out John Ryder, so this guy's washed now. And that's, to me, that tells me you didn't really know a lot about this guy going into the fight. John Ryder's, again, been in there with big punches. He's a durable guy. On the Billy Joe Saunders fight, this other fight I saw with him, he's been in there with high-level guys.
I would say high level. I don't know about big punchers. And one thing is, I want to
Callum. I remember you picked Callum to beat Canelo Alvarez, if I'm not mistaken. You picked Callum Smith to beat him, and he'd been in there and he bossed Callum Smith around. I thought he won that fight. I thought he got robbed in that fight. I thought he should have beat Callum Smith. Jacobs is regarded as a puncher as well. So
I don't think Jacobs has been regarded as a puncher since he's come back off of his cancer remission. But I do want to say that there's part of it, like, you have to acknowledge that this is somebody who's never been dropped before, and then Canelo was able to drop him. So that says something. But he took a pretty frightful beating. And I don't know if you see, like, his face, his nose was broken in the 5th round. He was bleeding profusely from his nose from there. His mouth was bleeding. And I'm surprised because fighters from Britain, their corners usually are quick to kind of throw in the child. They're even quick to kind of give in a little bit. But he had a lot of pride about himself. But so from your view, you didn't see any kind of slippage, or this was just where Canelo is at right now?
He look how he always looked to me, man. I've never been ever, and y'all can all attest to this, I have never been blown away by this guy. I just do. It was a matter of time before they start putting him in there with the right opposition, people are going to see that he isn't the person that a lot of his fans have made him out to be. He just isn't. He's very, very, very flat. He's just so flat-footed. And because he's so flat-footed to me, and Dave, jump in here, correct me if I'm wrong here, it really limits him. The punch variety isn't there. His volume and output is very, very, very low. And he just has a tough time finding angles. It makes him very, very predictable. You know what punches are coming, you know when they're coming. And it's just a matter of if you have the speed, the timing, and the reflexes to be able to pick those punches off with either with catching or blocking, or just use your footwork to stay at a decent range. That's why they avoid certain types of fighters. The other thing I wanted to point out, and I've pointed this out before when it comes to Canelo, John Ryder hit him with about 12 uppercuts in that fight. And there was very minimal. I don't know that Ryder didn't really have the power to really bother Canelo. Let me tell you something. He gets in there with a guy like Boo Boo or Charlo. Those uppercuts are going to be coming from all kinds of crazy angles, and they're going to be coming with a lot more intention and a lot more velocity. I've always said that the punch that keeps Canelo and his team up at night is the uppercut. And that is why they have avoided certain types of fighters.
So, Coach, what are your thoughts on the performance of Saul Canelo Alvarez?
Yeah, man. Well, first, man, I think I gotta, definitely. I just kind of want to absolutely say I think a good call from Boston Jay on it going the distance, man. Because I've seen this cat fight too, and I knew the guy was tough, man. But to be honest with you, dude, I because he takes so many shots, I honestly, like, I knew this guy was gonna get hit, man. But I think Jarrett saw a lot of the toughness, in this kid than a lot of us might have saw, bro. Because I knew, look at the shots that this cat ran into. Look at the shots that Canelo hit this kid with. That's why I was just calling it early. I was like, dude, this guy is gonna be right there for Canelo. That's why I thought it was gonna go for, If it's an issue of Canelo's punching power or this cat just tough, I don't know, bro. It might just be both. I don't know. I think the biggest thing that I want to kind of add to what Boston said is put this guy up in there put Canelo, somebody up in there that can move like he mentioned, man. Andrade and any other Charlos, man. Who not only is that uppercut just gonna come because what from what I saw, what Ryder didn't do with that uppercut is it want a whole lot of stuff following it. And sometimes, that first shot, what's the whole point of the uppercut, man? You pull the head out the pocket, then you twist that hook off on this joker. You know what I'm saying? Twist that hook off on this joker. And then when you're looking back, here come that brick hand, boom, 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 and you back on him. So I think put Canelo in there with somebody of significance, and he is losing. So from a Bevo level up, he losing to me. I ain't trying to hate, man, but I'm just look, dude, fight somebody or get on up out of there. Fight somebody or get on up out of there, man. So I got no sympathy, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like major pain. You want my sympathy, look in the dictionary between shit and syphilis. So I ain't got no sympathy for Canelo whatsoever. But honestly, that's my take. I think honestly, Boston ran it down, man. The only thing that I would add, honestly, is that somebody throwing it uppercut and bringing more stuff behind it, man. It's gonna be tough for Canelo, man. But hey, he won the fight. That's all I got for him, man.
All right, the casual ran. So, what do you think about the entertainment value of this fight? Like just the kind of overall aesthetics.
So 2 points. First, I want to. I just wanted to give your boy his props. He came in. John Ryder his props. We knew that he was going to get blown out, and Canelo was like 2 steps above John Ryder the whole time. But he's been able to do. He did with something that a lot of fighters haven't been able to do, and that's go the whole distance with Canelo. No matter how, if we see he's in decline or what, he did take Canelo to distance. I don't know if that was wise because he might cut some years off his life on that, but he did. So
what made his career? I don't know about his life.
hey,
God damn it, yeah.
His life.
So to answer your question, Cam, the entertainment value of this was poo-poo. I mean, a lot of Canelo fans are going to bring up the fact that he had over 50,000 spectators at the stadium, but that was in Mexico. Bring a John Ryder Canelo fight to the U.S. and he's selling out MGM Grand. Okay.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, let's bring up the fact that let's see. I don't know. I couldn't. That's what I was just looking for, but I don't see the gate numbers. What did the gate bring? Because I'll put up Tank numbers, that Tank Garcia fight, and gate numbers, the money that brought in against this 50,000 Canelo fight, because a lot of those probably like $10 seats.
Now, so I had a little bit of inside info I can share on that. So apparently, a large majority of the tickets that were reasonably priced were bought in bulk and then resold for astronomical prices. It was a pretty significant gate from what, and my man was he was down there, and I reached out to him. He hit me up Saturday night, and he's traveling back to Vegas now, so I'm not going to be able to have any of the numbers or stuff until later this week. But it was a significant event. My man said, my man's been to.
For the guy had 150 person mariachi band. I don't know if you saw the walk-in. It was pretty extravagant.
I didn't see the walk-in. My man shot a video. He shot a video of it because the iPhone iPhone to Android makes it all blurry and shit. I couldn't tell. It was pretty spectacular. He said the who's who from Mexico. He said there were cartel motherfuckers in there. Every single Mexican celebrity was in there, and he said it was pretty spectacular. To be fair.
But that's given though. You know what I'm saying? Because it was in Mexico. Like De La Hoya, who's the most prolific Hispanic boxer?
Chavez.
It's totally, and then De La Hoya is Mexican American. So
what was Chavez's biggest gate?
Well, not the
I don't know. You'd have to adjust for inflation and all that.
Yeah,
shit.
and then
I ain't talking about.
I mean, Chavez had like over 100,000 people attend.
Like the attendance.
Well, Chavez sold out Azteca.
He sold out Azteca, and you got to think about the capacity of the actual. So this was a football, like soccer field,
exactly.
So there's only a certain capacity that it could take.
Who do you think can fill out a football stadium in America?
Wilder could probably sell out something in Alabama, wherever the I believe Wilder. Maybe not now. I mean, you don't think if Wilder fought Joshua in that Alabama? I think he could. I think Wilder could, and I think Tank.
I don't think there's an American fighter that's going to fill out a football stadium.
Nah, Tank could. If you put Tank in Atlanta and have him fight in that Atlanta Falcons, where the Falcons play or where the Ravens play, you let Tank Davis fight up.
I mean, those aren't that big.
Ravens
like
stadium.
Football stadium, you got to go to like college stadiums. Like
let me tell you something.
Between
right
the hedges, like UGA, like that's 100,000.
That's a lot of motherfuckers. 100,000. So I don't know about 100. You put Tank. Now you'd have to have the National Guard come to this motherfucker. But if you let Tank fight Gary Russell in that Baltimore Ravens stadium, that shit, people will be hanging from the okay.
I mean the region, yes, but that ain't gonna put 50 to 70,000 people.
Oh hell yes, the fucking would. Gary Russell versus Tank Davis at Ravens Stadium. No. That shit would be crazy. It'd
be a good fight, man. I would love to see it.
They're gonna be. What does Ravens Stadium hold?
Like the pro football things like that, but go ahead though. So I mean, but like, what's your bigger point though, Casual?
I'm just saying that there's no. I think the U.S. is different than Mexico. Like they all got behind their one Mexican fighter and showed up. United States, there's too many other things going on. Why they trying to put a fight on right now? Hell no, because you got the NBA playoffs where people gonna be split with that. You got, you know what I'm saying? You got ice hockey. You had the horse races. So you dividing up too many pots of money. The people aren't gonna show up like that.
Yeah, well, I think Triple G Canelo 3 didn't sell out. So I think that by itself there proves a point. But that's part of the reason why they put that fight in Mexico. They really wanted to do the fight. They wanted to do the fight in the UK originally, but there was something about availability of the stadium in the UK. But that's where they originally wanted to do that fight was the UK. They
really.
wanted
I heard that Canelo kind of put his foot down.
Yes, well, that was part of it, but it was also because of the availability. I'm just telling you what was told to me, that was originally part of the plan, was to go to a big time arena in the UK, but because of a professional EPL soccer and all that stuff and all that stuff, it wasn't available, and Canelo wanted to do something in Mexico. So anyway, that's part of the reason why I think the tickets got resold, because of how cheap they were.
Even with you know what I'm saying, it being down in Mexico, I still like the pay-per-view numbers. You know what I'm saying, until we see what the pay-per-view numbers were, I'm still gonna be like, okay, he had the large attendance because it was down in Mexico. But if the pay-per-view numbers are like 500,000, that shows me that it was because he fought in Mexico. Not because he's like the face of boxing. But as of right now, I still say Canelo is the face of boxing.
Yeah.
Because that motherfucker was on the top 5 in Forbes this year.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my man.
Until
my man was telling me he's got gas stations
the
down
face
there.
of boxing match those numbers, it ain't happening. It ain't happening, bro.
My man was saying that he has a gas station chain down there. He's got his own beer, because he's been down there the last 2 weeks, and for the buildup and all that. And he said this guy's face is everywhere. Like there was no place you can go. And Guadalajara, for people who haven't been, is a major metropolitan city. It's not like going to Cancun. It's like being in Mexico City. It's a major metropolitan city. There are a ton of people there, and this guy's face was everywhere. Said it was pretty spectacular lead up.
But
It was.
So if you flip the coin on that, and like your first question to me, Cam, was the entertainment value. Like while all this was going on in Mexico, man, people would barely remember that Canelo was fighting this week.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And he got booed apparently at the end of that fight.
So so we barely people, unless you a hardcore boxing fan or Canelo fans.
Yeah, Canelo fan.
People tracking Canelo fighting this weekend.
Yeah. And Cam sent that note, 71,000 seats in Raven Stadium. I don't know that Tank could do 71. I don't know. You put him in there with the right guy. You put him in there against Gary.
Really? I don't.
It would take somebody like Loma.
I don't think Gary's like that. I would.
It had to be like Lomachenko, man.
To me, it would have to be the perfect storm. Like it wouldn't even have at the Baltimore Stadium. It would be with a Teofimo. I think a Teofimo Lopez and a Tank Davis. And I'm thinking that maybe at
70,000. If Garcia come back and start knocking motherfuckers out, and in 2 years from now, be like, I want a rematch. That's the only way he getting up to 70,000, bro.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see what Tank does. What Tank does next, as far as his gates and his numbers, depending on who he fights. But yeah,
I mean, he's starting to make inroads. But his most important kind of audience right now is the casual fans, because that's what's going to have to make up that difference. I mean, it's a difference in going to MGM you know, 12, 14, 20,000, and then doing that, you know, 3 and 4-fold and jumping up to 71,000 to, you know, something that Tyson Fury could do, you know, back home, or Anthony Joshua do back in England, or Canelo Alvarez, something that he would do in Mexico. But
yeah, I say that there's no one boxer in America can bring that on his own. You would have to have a game partner that's coming in with just as much, you know what I'm saying, prestige and fan base to make. I don't think that Crawford Spence fight do that anywhere close to that. But
well, it's going to be indoors, so we're not going. That fight's going to be in Vegas, so we're not going to get a chance to see that. But yeah, you could be onto something. I still think the right person in the right venue with the right price, because that's a lot of it. What comes down to also is the price for the seating, especially the nosebleed, the non-premium seats or whatever. You know, what are you looking at for pricing and shit like that? I still think Wilder's a big draw. You put him in Tuscaloosa, and put him in there against the right guy. He's going to do significant numbers. Even if you were to do Tyson, Deontay Wilder, Andy Ruiz, and have that at the Raiders Stadium on a Mexican holiday, I think that's going to do big.
The only way Wilder get closer to the numbers if he fight Fury in the UK.
I don't know. I don't think
that's or Joshua. He can fight
Joshua in
the UK. Anywhere in the US is not going to happen, bro. I just don't see nobody. You know what I'm saying? There's too much other stuff that split the people's attention.
All right, so let's we're gonna move on to the next topic.